Yo, how's it going? Welcome to the video. Today we're doing a video on Arknights. Now listen, I've seen about 50 million beginner guides on YouTube for Arknights. I've seen several videos talk about what you should do in Arknights. But I'm going to try and make a new series on this channel, which is basically going to be actually going through the new experience for players. This is a brand new account I've made specifically for this series. This is going to be kind of a series going through what I'm doing, what I'm going to be like progressing through as a new player. Each time I'm going to try and do an update video of what I've done, etc. So in general, should be pretty helpful for new players and maybe players who just came back to the game. If you are level 2 and you've just came back, oh boy, long journey. Anyway, moving into this right now. So currently I have pulled on my original standard banner for, well, beginner banner, and I got my guaranteed 6-star. I did 20 pulls on that banner because it's very, very helpful to pull on that banner. You will see it. In general, very, very worth pulling. You get better value. In terms of operators, I have got Angelina. She was my guaranteed 6-star I got on that banner. I've also got, let me move my camera here. I've also got Lapland here. I've got Platinum, Elopsis, Emiya, which is a free-to-play unit. You get her pretty much at the start of the game, and Silence. Now, I picked Lapland from my ticket, and also Silence from my ticket. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, if we go to mail here, gonna mute myself first, go to mail here, we will get these 2 tickets. With these 2 tickets, there are quite a few options, but for me personally, I went with Silence and Lapland. Silence and Lapland are pretty good units. Silence is a very nice healer to have. She has a drone that you can put anywhere on the map as well, which allows for a lot of easier times for newer players, in my opinion. And Lapland in general becomes very, very useful later on, especially. She has a guard, so she can actually hit within a bit of a bigger range, but also she can silence, which silencing basically means that an annoying exploding enemies won't just completely obliterate you. You will know what I mean at some point. But those are the 2 I got, and also from just pulling, I got Platinum and Telopsis. Very, very lucky to get Telopsis. Telopsis is very, very good. You can actually pick her from the ticket as well, but I actually didn't do that because I had her. And also I feel like picking healers on the tickets at the beginning of the game, it can be helpful, but I wouldn't always prioritize it. Having a good damage dealer like, you know, Lapland, who has her own use as well, it's pretty helpful. But we also got Platinum. Platinum is pretty nice to have as well because she attacks aerial enemies first. There's quite a few units that do that, but in general, I'm very, very happy to have Platinum. Right, anyway, moving into what I've been doing on this account. So I have been claiming all my rewards at the top here. This is very, very important to just claim. It's free rewards. Just do it. We have rookie mission as well. I'm going to try and do all these. There are specific conditions to actually doing them. Once I get them, 600 random each. Very, very, very nice to have. And cumulative signing. Free rewards in general, good. Next thing I've also been doing is I've been doing story. As you can see here, I'm currently on 1-1. I complete the whole first chapter. I pretty much just started this video as soon as I cleared the first chapter. Once I'm pretty much stuck in the story, before that, I'll just be doing story pretty much constantly until I get stuck. Once I get stuck, I will probably come back here, and you will notice at some point after you complete a certain stage in story, you will have something called challenge mode. Challenge mode, it will show up on the bottom left here, and also there will be a little symbol at the top here that will be black. This is going to be pretty helpful for you because you'll be able to get even more Arknight. Arknight you get for clearing just a stage normally as well, which is used for skins and pulls. In general, very, very helpful. That's what I'm going to be doing. Just focus on story. Any new player that starts a game, just do story. You can't go wrong with doing story. Literally, doesn't matter what stage of the game you are, story always has benefits in general. Now, next thing I want to do actually is once I do a bit more of story, this is kind of something I want to talk about, is after I actually reach 110, I will unlock events / intermezzi, or I think it's called intermezzi. I wonder if it's called intermission, but anyway, that's what I'm going to be unlocking next. It is these 2 symbols. You will have this red disc-like currency that you can use to unlock 2 of the events. Now, these are past events. There is something called record restoration on some of them, where you can get a character and other cosmetical items. I don't think you will unlock record restoration for a while, but it is worth getting this unlocked because you can unlock 2 of the past events, and they will give you basically the same thing like this, where it's like story stages, and you will have on the bottom right something called X stages, which is great because it allows you to have a challenge mode on there, and you can clear those additional stages too for more Arknights. Now, next thing I'm also going to do is try and reach 3A of story. As you can see, there's a theme here. Clearing story is very, very helpful. Once I reach 3A of story, I will unlock integrated strategies. Integrated strategies is very, very good for resources. Basically, each time you play it and you actually finish it, you don't have to complete it, but you just have to basically either lose or actually win. It doesn't really matter. You will get candles. These candles are basically used to get rewards. You can get LMD, XP. This is literally all used for upgrading your characters. So it's going to be very, very helpful to get all this stuff. And in general, very, very useful. 310, 3.8. 3.8 of story being complete, very, very important. That is my plan in general around actual content. Now, next thing I'm going to talk about is my team. So I've made a team specifically for a video, and I kind of scrapped it, so I'm going to have to do this again. But in general, I'm going to try and stick to a basic format for the team. I'm not going to get super in depth because we'll be here forever if I do. But first thing I'm going to say straight away, put your 6 stars in. It's going to be most helpful for you. 6 stars in general are very, very good, and they have very, very good stats at the beginning of the game. So just drop them in. You're going to do that anyway 99% of the time, let's be honest. So I've got my Angelina in here. And next up, what I want to put on my team is 2 healers. I personally like having 2 healers. Some people might opt for 1 healer. I'm going to go for 2. I have Tolopsis and Silence. If you don't have Tolopsis and Silence, Perfume is pretty good. There's also the 3-star healers, which in general are pretty good options. Ansel, Hibiscus. You can't really go wrong with them because they are 3 stars. So basically, if you invest in them, you don't lose out on anything. People do use these in like very specific clears. So honestly, pretty worth building, in my opinion. I'm going to use these 2 though. Very, very exchangeable though. So there we go. Drop them in. Now, next up, I want 2 anti-air units. Units that actually attack aerial units first. If you want to know how to check that, if you click on a character, for example, that has the little bow icon, it basically means they can attack air units. I'll just put it a nice way. And if we just click here, you will see attacks aerial enemies first. Good to have 2 of these, in my opinion, just because some stages are kind of a bit annoying when it comes to aerial enemies. You want to prioritize them first because they will tend to just fly through your team. So it's very important to have 2. I'm also going to put Jessica in mine. There is a character called Cruz. There's also this guy, who are very, very good options. Cruz in general is actually super, super good. So if you get the 3-star Cruz, very, very helpful. I don't have her on this account, unfortunately, just yet. But when I get her, I might end up using her to serve Jessica. I will see. But got my 2 aerial attacking units. And next up, I'm going to just drop in 2 casters. So casters are good because they deal arts damage. If you've done the tutorial, you will notice that in general, arts damage dealers do more damage. They're pretty good against armored units, so to speak. I like using them. They're very, very good. You're going to want to use them. I'm going to pick Mia. I don't really have any other options. I could use Durin over here. I'm not going to do that because she's a 2-star. So I'm probably going to use Lava for the AoE arts damage. So if there's several enemies, it's going to be pretty helpful to have that. I'm going to go ahead and drop them in. And next up, I'm going to go ahead and get a Defender on my team. Defenders basically just tank more, and they can block more enemies from passing by. A great option for me is Quora. I'm going to go with Quora. Some people at the start of the game could opt to have 2, but for me, I'm only going to opt to have 1. Mahorn is pretty decent. There's also a character called Spot. That's a 3-star. He's pretty decent as well. But I'm going to use Quora. Quora is very, very nice to have. Very, very good. Now, Next up, I'm just going to quickly just think about this. This is kind of where it becomes a little bit more easier / difficult to think of. I'm going to pick 2 Vanguards by the symbol here. Vanguards give deployment points, or they give deployment points on killing enemies. It's not always the case, but 90% of the time it is. They're very, very good because more deployment points means pulling down more units. Pulling down more units is going to, in general, be a bad time, let's be honest. And there we go. So, this is my core team. Obviously, we want to put in 12 characters. For this, now I tend to just be a little bit more flexible. For me, I'm going to obviously put my Lapland in that I picked from my ticket. Lapland's very, very nice. And who else will I pick? Let me think. I will probably pick Melantha for now. Melantha's just pretty good for cleaning up units. You kind of just put her down quickly and then take her back. She's pretty nice to have in general. This is going to be my team, and I think that kind of does it for my team guide section, I suppose. That's kind of what I'm going with. I'm quite lucky, to be fair, with some of these units. But if you want me to use worse units for the sake of the series, let me know in the comments. It's really up to you guys. Personally, you can pretty much do all the content with weaker units anyway, so it's not really too much of a big deal. But anyway, moving into some of the more important things I want to talk about. So, I currently have only 4 Arknights. I spent a little bit of my Arknights converting into this, so I could pull on a beginner banner. Personally, for me, it's fine to do that, but after you've pulled everything on the actual not standard banner, beginner banner, the guaranteed 6-star operator banner, you pull 20 times. In my opinion, it is much better to save the Arknight and wait until you can actually pull on a limited banner that's coming. For example, at the moment there will be a Texas banner that's coming. That is a limited banner, very, very helpful to pull on. Gonna be very useful. I'm getting a tutorial right now. Game, this was a great time. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you make a new account on the go. This actually does bring up a good point though. We are currently in the store, which I will actually go over. You can obviously buy outfits, etc, etc. It's kind of up to you if you want to buy outfits. In general, you do get one for free, which I will redeem right now. It's not really important, it's all cosmetic. It's up to you if you want to get outfits. For me, I prefer to go for pulls, but there are some outfits that are like freaking beautiful, not gonna lie. But while we're in the store actually, so if I just go into store, there are packs. I'm not gonna go over like specifics around these, but good value is these 2 at the end. These are technically free to play because you can save Arknight for this. This is very useful, very, very good, much better value than just buying pulls. And there's this, which is free, which obviously is free. Monthly headhunting pack is good if you're a spender. Monthly card is best value, but you do have to log in. Gummy pack is good as well. Gummy is pretty decent, and the stuff you get on it is pretty nice as well. It's in general pretty good value for 99 cents. And then we have the Star Headhunting pack, which is useful as well. There is something like this as well, but this is, you can buy it if you want. It's really up to you. It's a sticker, not really a sticker. It's an icon and also some random. It's really up to you, not up to me. Outfits are in the store sometimes. Like I said, it's up to you if you want to buy them. It's completely your choice. If you want to buy them, some of them are really good. You don't get the operator after you buy the skin. I want to preface that. If you don't have the operator, don't buy the skin. I know it can be tempting sometimes, but you never know. You may never get that operator for like 6 months or even longer, and you have the skin for no reason. That's my personal opinion. Now, moving into the certificate shop, this is going to be pretty important for new players. So, as you can see here, we have green certificates and yellow certificates, and these red ones. I'm not going to talk about these purple ones. You don't really get them much, so they're not really worth mentioning. Maybe down the line I'll kind of talk about them a little bit more, maybe. But with the green certificates, you will get these from getting duplicate units in general. I'm pretty sure you get them from getting 3-star and 4 stars. I don't think you get any for 5-star and 6-star, but 3 stars and 4 stars will give you green certificates when they're duplicates. And in general, these are pretty helpful because you can get a random, which is used for pulls, and you can get headhunting permits. In general, what you want to do is you want to buy out this whole first page, and then you want to go to the next phase, buy these headhunting permits as well. and that's pretty much all you want to buy. For me, I just tend to save them for the next reset, as you can see in the bottom right. Once this resets, it goes back to the first one and proceed second, buy the headhunting permits, and save for the next one. If you have a ton of green certificates, you can always buy resources. In the very off chance, I wouldn't personally do that because you want to buy the pulls. Now, distinctions are quite an easy thing to explain. Basically, you don't want to buy anything here apart from the character or the headhunting permits. With these, this looks very tempting, but the one thing you want to do is you never want to buy this unless you can buy all 5 phases. Basically, what that means is like this one costs 10 for 1, and then it will send you on to the second phase. It will be more expensive and you get 2. Third phase, more expensive and you can get 5. You want to buy all of these in one go rather than buy 1 or like 2 and then it resets. Very bad value. You just want to buy all of them at once. Otherwise, don't buy them. My personal advice, everyone says it, very worth doing. There's also the red certificate shop. You get this from like farming red certificates under a certain stage and resources. I'll go over that in a second, but this is kind of not really too important. There are characters. Some of these characters are decent. You can also get these information fragments, which are used also to unlock characters, but I won't go over that in this video too much. Chip catalysts are used. These are going to be the things that you're probably going to end up buying most of the time, at least for me. These are used to promote operators from Elite 1 to Elite 2. We're kind of not going to go over that right now because it's just the beginning, but keep that in mind. You will get quite a few of these just from doing missions, which moves me on to missions. With the missions, you want to do all the pinball missions. Pinball missions are very helpful. As you can see, just behind me, you can get a ton in permit from it, so it's a pull. Pulls are very nice. And by the end of it, you can get free Texas, who is a pretty decent Vanguard in general. Worth getting. You can't really miss out on that. You do get some like XP and stuff as well, so it's worth it in a sense. We also have daily missions. Always do your dailies. You will thank me later, especially with these things. These things you're not going to use at the start of the game most likely too much, but they will be very helpful. You will thank me a lot. You get a random from this as well. As you can see, that is just adding up to your pulls. It's only 100, but after 30 days you get 3,000, so half a 10 pull, better than nothing, right? Weekly missions, very worth doing. You get stamina. Stamina means you can play more, which means you can get more resources, etc. A random obviously mean pulls, and you get these red certificates / green certificates. Pretty helpful in general, like I showed in the shop before. And you can get these module data blocks, as you can see on the second row there. They're not helpful at the beginning, but they will be helpful eventually, so worth going for. Campaign missions, just do them. I mean, just for that alone, it's pretty nice to do. You don't have to do them specifically, but you'll do them over time. I like doing them because there's free rewards. And I think that moves me on to some of the last things I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about base now because base is something that's going to be very important for free-to-play players, especially to give the most basic and not to get too in-depth into this. One thing that you want to do is you want to unlock all these rooms. Just unlock all the rooms, right? Unlock all the rooms, build your dormitories, build your power plants, build your factories, trading posts. Build all these rooms on the right hand side. You will eventually build all the rooms on the right hand side anyway, so technically it doesn't matter what you build. You obviously don't want to build the same building. I'm not going to go over this too much. You can replace your operators once they get fatigued. There will be like a little warning sign. As you can see, they have morale. Once it depletes, you can take them out, switch them with someone else, pull the operator that you had in it previously, and put them in a dormitory. I have went into another tutorial. In general, I don't like the base system. I think the base system needs a big change. I know it's in beta, but the game's not in beta, so, you know, it's been like this for a very long time. But what you want to do is just put in your old operator that you were using. Pretty helpful for resources in general. Now, moving on to some of the final things I want to talk about. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the start of the game. I hope people aren't too overwhelmed. If you have just started the game and you found this video helpful, please do drop us a like. It actually helps out a lot. You don't even know. Now, we're going to talk about recruitment. Recruitment is an interesting one. I can't actually expedite this, which basically means speed it up. So I'm going to have to kind of go off the whim here. Basically, with recruitment, I'm going to make this as simple as possible. There will be tags on recruitment. You will see like black tags. What you want to do is you want to just, at the start of the game, if you don't really understand it, you're really confused, and you don't want to search up a video, just set the actual recruitment to be 9 hours, which is the maximum amount of time for recruitment. And unless there is a gold tag, you will know because they're just black tags. If there is no gold one out of the black ones, just set it to 9 hours and just leave it. If you have a gold tag, which is usually top operator or another name that I don't actually know, go search up online Arknights recruitment calculator, and then you will be able to check through the tags and try and get a specific unit you want. You might not understand what I mean, but once you actually click on any website with Arknights recruitment calculator, you will kind of probably get the hang of it a bit more. If you don't know what's going on, click on it, click on the gold tag, set it to 9 hours, and just run it. Usually just set it to 9 hours and just run it is my advice for recruitment, unless you go gold tag. And right, now final thing I want to talk about, there was one more thing I wanted to mention. What was it though? Oh yes, it was resources / the supplies area. So with this, I'm just going to say this now, in general, very worth farming LMD, worth farming XP. You do get quite a lot at the start of the game, so you can maybe sometimes hold off, but if you're actually stuck on a certain stage, you can always farm for LMD, XP. These chips are very helpful. I currently have them locked, but once I unlock them, I'll be able to promote my units, which is very, very helpful. We also have like a resource search. Don't farm resource search. I've maybe farmed this like 10 times my whole life on my main account, so you know, you get some of it from missions and stuff, so in general you can hold off, but it's really up to you, I suppose. Puff Siege is used for red certificates. You can use them in the shop to get a certain character. In general, not something I would personally farm. I'd hold off. If you're really in need of chip catalysts, which is a bit later into the game, if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. If you need chip catalysts, it's pretty much the best way of getting them is just by farming this. It's really up to you. And then we have aerial threat for skill summaries. I've never run out of skill summaries, personally. I've never had to farm them, but if you need them, I guess this is probably the best place to farm them. That's in general what I think, but anyway, I think that really ends this video on that anyway, because I think I went through pretty much everything. If I've missed anything, please do comment down below. I do probably miss some things because there is a lot to this game, and at the same time it's rather simple, but I do think you can miss quite a lot. If you want a more in-depth guide on how the game actually works, do check out my other videos on this channel. I do go through a bit more. I don't tend to go through specific teams because specific teams require a lot of work and each operator is different in their own way. Anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you next one, and goodbye.